Hello there. Today we're going to talk about frequency tables and bar graphs. We're going to start off first talking about frequency tables. So let's just start off by looking at what I have here in your notes. It says blank is the number of times an event occurs, and that should be frequency. So go ahead and fill that in with frequency. And that's how many times something occurs. So then a frequency table is a table that uses numbers to record data about how often something happens. So let's take a look at the example we have here. It says students vote for the country they would most like to visit. They record the results in the frequency table. So we have 9 people that voted for England because that's how many times England was voted. 24 for China, 17 for Italy, 15 for Canada, and 6 for Iceland. And so our question is, students who vote for the 2 countries with the greatest frequency of votes will plan a festival about the countries. How many students will plan the festival? So I first have to look at who has the greatest votes. So I can see that China clearly does, and Italy. And so it wants to know how many students will plan the festival. So I'm going to have to add those together. I'm going to have to combine those. So 24 plus 17. 4 plus 7 is 11, and 1 and 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4. So that means 41 students would be planning the festival. Very difficult to write with this marker. All right, so let's look at another example of frequency tables. This one says Jason uses a frequency table to keep track of the posters he sells at his online store. He sells movie posters for $12 each and sports posters for $15 each. How much was Jason paid for the movie posters and sports posters he sold in January? So these are the posters sold in January. We have the types here and the frequency here. And I want to know how much was he paid, for the movie and sports posters that he sold in January. We know that movie posters are $12 and sports posters are $15. So if I want to know how much he was paid, I'm going to have to figure out how much he made for each of those. So I'm going to start off with my sports posters. And so he sold 13 sports posters, and they're each $15. So we're going to have to multiply that. 5 times 3, 15. Carry my 1. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. Kill it. Bury it. Hide the evidence. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. And I add my 2 partial products. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. 5 plus 0 is 5. 6 plus 3 is 9. And 1 plus 0 is 1. But then I have to go to my movie posters. He sold 2 of those. And we know that 12 times 2 is 24. So then to find the total price, or the total amount that he was paid, I would add 195 plus 24. 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. 1 and 1 is 2. So he made $219 on those posters in January. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about bar graphs. So a bar graph uses horizontal or vertical bars to display data. Sometimes you can make a prediction based on data. And so let's look at this bar graph. It says Mrs. Marzipan sold pretzels in a snack bar in a city park. She recorded the number of pretzels sold each day for 5 days. On which day was the greatest number of pretzels sold? So we can see by looking at the bar graph that on Friday there were 90 pretzels sold. So that would be the greatest. So that would be Friday. And we can easily see that. That's the cool thing about bar graphs, is you can easily see the data. Then it says, how many more pretzels did Mrs. Marzipan sell on Monday than Tuesday? Well, I look at Monday, and she sold 80. And then I look at Tuesday, and it's between 40 and 50, so that's 45. And so since I'm comparing, I'm subtracting. 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 minus 4 is 35. So she sold 35 more pretzels on Monday than Tuesday. All right, and let's do one more example with bar graphs. It says students earn $3 for every magazine subscription they sell. How much more money does Aaron earn than Carla? So how much more money does Aaron earn than Carla? If we look here, it says that Aaron sold 25, and so 25 times 3 we know is 75. So Aaron earned $75, and then Carla sold 10 magazines times 3 is $30. And since I'm comparing those two, I'm going to subtract 70 minus 30, which is $45 more. So Aaron sold $45 more, or yeah, he earned $45 more than Carla. All right, that concludes our notes for frequency tables and bar graphs. And make sure you bring these to class tomorrow. See you then.